The Trump administration and lawyers for a Maryland man wrongfully deported to El Salvador filed Supreme Court briefs in a fight over whether or not he shall be returned to the United States. This comes as the court gives a go-ahead for the deportation of suspected gang members under a 1798 law known as the Enemy Aliens Act. Our Scott MacFarlane joins me now right here at the desk with the latest. So what is the latest, Scott?
Well, they have opened the door to this use of a law that hasn't been invoked since Japanese internment in World War II, but they put a big caveat in there.
The Supreme Court did.
Sure did. The Supreme Court has determined through its order that you have to have some form of due process if you're going to be deported through the Alien Enemies Act. It's far from clear what due process is going to include and not include, and you better believe this is going to go back through the courts to articulate that issue. But they put a safeguard in there, presumably to prevent the types of mistakes that hit on March 15th. When this use of the Alien Enemies Act was brought back for the first time since the 1940s, and somebody, at least one person, was deported by mistake. But this is going to go back to the courts. The Supreme Court actually determined as part of their order that one of the issues here is this is the wrong venue. This case was brought initially in Washington, D.C., and it should have been brought in Texas, where the men were initially held. So this will be filed, presumably, in the coming days, if not hours, in Texas.
Right. So venue is one matter. It's an important matter, but it's not the substance of it. And I want to play for you, Scott, something the Attorney General Pam Bondi said at the White House today about this underlying case and the substance of it. Let's listen.
It was an administrative error as to why he was deported, and he is a known gang member. ICE testified he was a gang member, and we believe he should stay where he is.
The he involved is a human being, and a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of days ago, the Vice President of the United States on social media said he was a convicted gang member. Yep. No evidence of that. Now, he's a known gang member. What do we know and what is knowable about his affiliations, real or imagined, with gangs?
We know unequivocally his family has denied he had any connections to gangs, foreign or domestic. But we also know what the plaintiffs have been arguing continuously through the course of this month over this deportation to begin with. This is exactly why you want to have a court hearing before you deport somebody, so you can litigate that and argue that either way before the deportation is effected. That's the more fundamental issue. But in this case, in the case of Mr. Garcia of Maryland, there's a different thing at play. It could come out when the Supreme Court decides what to do about his case. Can you get somebody back after you've deported them to another country? That's the issue the Supreme Court will have to deal with as well.
Scott MacFarlane, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.